Every person walks through life with dreams that feel so close, yet somehow always remain just out of reach, and often it's not because they lack talent, opportunity, or effort, but because deep inside there are invisible chains, beliefs that whisper they are not enough, that success is for others, that life is supposed to be hard. These limiting beliefs become like quiet background noise, always present, always influencing decisions, and slowly shaping a reality that feels smaller than the one they truly deserve. Imagine a person standing in front of a door that could change their entire future, but instead of trying to open it, they convince themselves the lock is too strong, or the door isn't meant for them. This is how limiting beliefs control the mind, without force, without proof, just by planting doubt. And as days turn into months and months into years, people convince themselves that this shrinking world is normal. They accept failure before trying, settle for less than they deserve, and live inside a mental cage that they never realized they built themselves. This story isn't unique, it plays out in millions of lives, and the saddest part is many never recognize the bars of the cage, so they never attempt to break free. But once the truth is seen, once these beliefs are exposed, the entire direction of life can change. The first harmful belief begins with the idea that I am not good enough, a sentence so simple yet so destructive that it has stopped more dreams than any obstacle in the world. It starts quietly, often planted during childhood, through criticism, comparisons, or repeated failure. Over time, the mind begins to internalize it like a hidden script, replaying it every time a person wants to try something new. They avoid opportunities, underestimate their abilities, and assume others are more talented or deserving. This belief becomes a filter through which all actions are judged. They may have gifts, intelligence, compassion, creativity, but none of it matters if they believe they are fundamentally inadequate. And the tragedy is that people who feel not enough often become perfectionists or people pleasers, constantly trying to earn approval, yet never giving themselves permission to shine. They apologize for existing, shrink when they need to grow, and hide their real potential behind fear. Breaking this belief demands a deep internal shift, a willingness to rewrite the story of who they think they are. The second limiting belief is the mindset that success is too risky, a belief born from fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of making the wrong move. Many people would rather stay in a familiar life even if it's painful than step toward a future they can't predict. They imagine worst-case scenarios, believe disaster is waiting around every corner, and assume the price of trying is too high. Because of this, they hesitate when they should act, overthink when they should decide, and remain stuck in cycles that slowly drain their confidence. They convince themselves that ambition is dangerous, that dreaming too big invites disappointment, and that a safe life is better than a fulfilled one. But the truth is, the greatest risk is staying the same. Life rewards courage, not fear, and every breakthrough begins with uncertainty. Those who reject this belief discover that failure is not fatal, it's information, growth, and direction. But as long as this belief dominates the mind, success will always look like a threat instead of an opportunity. The third belief that destroys potential is I don't deserve success, a belief often tied to guilt, low self-worth, or a long history of being told to stay small. Many hard-working, talented people don't rise because they unconsciously sabotage their progress. The moment things start to improve, they doubt themselves, withdraw, or allow fear to take over. They believe others are more worthy, better, smarter, more deserving of happiness or wealth. This creates a painful cycle where success feels uncomfortable, and comfort feels undeserved. They may downplay their accomplishments, refuse compliments, or hide their strengths so they won't appear arrogant. But deep inside, they are fighting an emotional conflict between what they want and what they believe they're worthy of receiving. Breaking this belief is not easy because it requires healing, forgiveness, and the courage to stand in one's own value. Yet once someone realizes that worthiness is not something earned, it is something inherent, the entire path to success opens. The fourth limiting belief is the heartbreaking assumption that my past defines my future, a belief that imprisons countless people who have suffered failures, trauma, or poor choices. They look at their mistakes and conclude that they are permanently broken, permanently behind, or permanently stuck. They forget that growth is possible, transformation is real, and the future is shaped by choices, not memories. This belief convinces them that they cannot change careers, cannot develop new habits, cannot build new relationships, or cannot evolve into a stronger version of themselves. They replay old stories as if they were unchangeable truths, not recognizing that every person who has ever succeeded had a past filled with errors, losses, and moments of doubt. The past is a teacher, not a prison, but when this belief dominates the mind, the person stops learning and starts living in fear of repeating old pain. Letting go requires courage, the courage to forgive oneself, to reframe old experiences, and to decide that the future deserves a chance to be rewritten. The fifth limiting belief is the illusion that I need permission to succeed, a belief rooted in seeking approval from family, society, or authority figures. Many people delay their dreams waiting for some external validation, a sign, a blessing, or the perfect moment. They fear disappointing others, fear standing out, fear choosing a path that no one understands. They become trapped in roles assigned to them, roles that suppress their unique identity. This belief grows stronger in environments where people are taught to follow rather than lead, to obey rather than explore. But the truth is, no one will ever give permission for a life they don't fully understand. Success begins the moment a person stops seeking approval and starts seeking purpose. Breaking this belief requires independence of thought, trust in one's own intuition, and the willingness to take responsibility for one's life. Without this shift, dreams remain locked behind invisible expectations. The sixth limiting belief is the devastating notion that it's too late for me, a belief that grows stronger with age, failure, or comparison. People convince themselves that opportunities only belong to the young, the lucky, or the already successful. They feel time slipping away and assume that missed chances cannot be replaced. But this belief ignores countless stories of people who achieved greatness later in life, those who started businesses at 50, learned new skills at 60, or transformed their lives at 70. Life does not follow a fixed timeline, it follows the courage of the individual. When a person believes it's too late, they stop trying, and when they stop trying, life becomes smaller. But the truth is, the moment a person chooses to grow becomes the perfect time to begin. The world is filled with second chances, but only for those who believe they deserve them. The final limiting belief is the idea that I can't change, a belief that creates a powerful psychological trap. When someone believes their personality, habits, or destiny are fixed, they stop taking steps toward improvement. They accept their flaws as permanent, their weaknesses as unchangeable, and their situation as final. This belief kills dreams slowly, silently, by suffocating hope. But science, experience, and countless human stories prove that change is not only possible, it is natural. The brain can be rewired, habits can be reshaped, identities can be rebuilt. Growth is a lifelong process, and every decision, every struggle, every small step becomes part of a greater transformation. The truth is, people don't fear change, they fear discomfort. But discomfort is the birthplace of progress. And once someone breaks this belief, the rest of the world transforms before their eyes, because nothing is more powerful than a person who finally realizes they are capable of rewriting their own life story.